We're back playing some Caveman2Cosmos. More closer to the caveman part, to the Cosmos part. So, we are back. A little fourth, a little thing I like to announce. You don't have to, watch each and every episode. It's eternity. It's gonna be a long haul here. So... I just want you to know that I'm going to try my best on my YouTube side of things to, in the square brackets, I'm going to try to make sure that if something like a war happens, something important happens, I'm going to, put that in there so you, at a glance, when you go over the YouTube playlist or, just, go through your subscriber list, you'll have a rough idea what to expect in an episode, because we're in it for the long haul. And I'm going to do as much as I can to get this rolling as fast as we can. Also, I have a little thing here, because 39 changed some of the prehistoric early text here, and I hope the music's not too loud. It is from Terminal Conflict again, because I just enjoy it. Basically, early civics giving texts are now key to upping your research production gold and culture. Getting off the initial civic in many categories is essential to all these areas to get to normal levels. Which, we surmised in the beginning, so language, oral traditions, hunting, etc. are more important for your initial city growth and development. There are 7 civic choices available before you hit tribalism. So we load up our tech advisor, we'll point that out here. So tribalism is... here. So by the time we get to this point, we have had 7 civic choices before we get to here. Tribalism itself gives 3, so I see there you have tribal warfare, and communal. This also allows us to start building cities. As Joseph says, by the time he hits sedentary lifestyles, he's activated 10 civic choices, and there are 2 left inactive till later. Because of the options I've chosen, most likely I'll get them all. And I appreciate that post. That's on the Caveman2Cosmos forums. You can catch me there, or on the Caveman2Cosmos Discord, or on my own Discord. So we're going to hop right into this. And thank you for joining us today, the Barbarian. Thank you for your follow. And we're just going to, go through it. So, I'd like to point out that it should be a lot easier for you guys to, read along. I got... I'm gonna call it Papio, Python Performance Interface Overhaul, and it works like a dream. Also, I'm kind of liking this ASD to get to toggle through these menus. It's actually much nicer, and that Civilopedia load up was fantastic. It's excellent work. So we're just gonna go through the turns a little bit, and I'm gonna follow along. With the chat as best as I can. I'm going to be playing for maybe 2 sessions of an hour, so I'll end one session because it's mostly for YouTube uploading. I'll end the 1 session. I'm aiming for the 1. Maybe we'll go for 2. Yeah, we'll go from there. Yeah, the load speeds alone. I noticed that when I did 38.5 in my first episode, which is on YouTube now. I noticed the difference. And I was like, oh my god, once you get Papio, you can't go back to, without it. It's so good. It did take me a few moments to get used to, this new interface here. It wasn't so bad. Did the music stop? Sorry, lads and lasses. Yes, it did. Okay, give me a second here. Oh no, what do you want? Oh, it's on the ambience. I'll just remove that. Not really that noticeable. Hello, Alex Delars, and welcome to the stream. Sorry, I was just working on the music a little bit. If it's too loud, please give me the heads up. So this is going to be a more slow-paced game. You can almost treat it as until we get further on, when we start getting cities and all that. And I'm running a game parallel to this. And I'm 1,000 turns in, and I'm just starting to break into that hunk of text, and it's great. I like the pace, and it's been a learning experience along the way. Like, it's been great. Need more Chairman Meow? I mean, in Terminal Conflict we're currently working on, like, I know we had been working on it before, but with the switch that we did in Terminal Conflict with the focus management, I can safely say that the Chinese Civil War is being implemented now, and I had reservations about it before, but it's a lot more fun. Of course, in that test game, Xeris whooped my ass. This is the better China, it's the Tang China. Like, out of all the Chinese history, I found the Tang to be the most interesting, kind of because of the most, like, most of the stuff that we think of for China kind of, like, derived from here, I think. If I'm wrong, please correct me, but from my understanding... Oh, thank you, Caleb. I appreciate that. So, as always, it'll be about a day delay before this gets onto the good old archive of YouTube, because that's what it's good for nowadays. Twitch is just a little bit more fun. Yeah, no, it's appreciated. Because right now it's just a hobby again, and I kind of want to play Caveman2Cosmos up until, like, once Mutant Taxes 3.0 comes out. Like, it'll be a lot tougher to decide which one I want to play. But I think I'll start a France game, like I did with M&T Beta came out. You're right, the Han had a very good run, definitely when you think of, like, the Chinese dynasties. They had, like, pretty much the run. And when, yeah, no, that's, like, the best way to think of it. I kind of want to save the Horseman while installing. I know I could probably get more, but I want to wait until I get a Hunter. Yeah, M&T France was fun until it started getting too buggy, but I hope 3.0 is a lot better. That unrest bug, though, that was brutal trying to get into Mexico. Now, it's a good idea to maybe eventually go after the Horseman, but I want to save a lot of the animals for when we start getting hunters. Well, trackers will be the first one. Yeah, I remember a lot of you guys from my earlier streams, and I'm sorry I'm not the most regular. You know, life and work, right? That's why I'm, like, not really pushing, like, please subscribe or like this episode and comment anymore. Like, I've been, like, pulling back on that, because if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. And YouTube will probably, like, you know, algorithmically, they hear your Twitch, they're gonna be like, now we will never mention you again, so I don't really care. And yeah, the communist dynasty, yeah. It's really the dynasty without the crown is what it's currently at, right? Yeah, no. But thank you for the 100 bits. 100 M&T France was the first stream I watched you play it. Yeah. I really want to get back into that, but it seems quite a bit of a hassle as it currently is with 2.5.
One just principle from the depths of a cave is more powerful than an army.
What do we get? So, I'm going to explain a bit about C2C as we go. So we just got cave dwelling. Because I think we have a cave dwelling, caves in the area, we're going to get automatic buildings, like houses popping up as we go along. So we got a cave dwelling, and this is one of the better ones. And on my solo play, I'm actually playing as the Celts. And Papaya is just fantastic. It should make it a lot more legible when you view this on your screen, either on Twitch or on YouTube. So I think it helps both me and the viewers. So it's like really good. So this building is automatically built by your citizens when its requirements are met, and this works for a lot of things like crime, education. As you see down here, we're idiots. But and this is the native culture I was talking about in the beginning. So in all my cities, I have a base of like Asian, right? And Asian cultures will unlock as we go along. So, and some civics actually give like automatic buildings as well. The Zulu researchers are rumored to have made a technological breakthrough. Now, we're gonna have an early lead, but since I tend to focus on production, and I rely on growth through hunting later, I mean, they call themselves the New China and view themselves as the new thing forged of the century of humiliation to take back its rightful place at the center of Earth. As its hegemony, like... Yeah, to be fair, like, China's always been a world power. I would argue, like, the past century has been an anomaly for China, that it hasn't actually been a forefront on the world stage. So... like, I like I like a lot of the Chinese history, but I'm not a big fan of its current regime, and I can see these things because I don't think my videos will ever appear in China, so, you know, sucks to be them, and I have no desire to go there. Definitely with the current political climate between China and Canada. No, I would argue 1800s China was still pretty strong. Like, it was showing its weakness, like its decadence, but it was still something you couldn't sneeze at. I think it's as you got closer to the end of the 1800s, like the rot really started to show. Basically when Japan was really starting to make itself known in East Asia. When it too wanted to have colonies. But I'm not as familiar with modern China as I would like. Like, I have friends because, you know, you have a lot of people from Hong Kong in my area, or like they're familiar with the politics, so it pops up in my view quite a bit. Because Canada has a pretty large Cantonese demographic, which I think it's one of our next largest demographics. Like, you have your, you know, Caucasian, and then you have like, I think Cantonese is one of the major minorities. Well, I would argue that it didn't really get better under Mao. It's just, there was just such a low bar to come from that it looks like it got better, but there was a lot of terrible things that Mao fumbled through. Just China was too tired to get rid of Mao. Or at least that's how I look at that part of history. So we do have some leeway. Now this is going to be around for a while, so... we're going to have hunter-gathering, I suspect, for quite a long time. Yeah, up until agriculture, and by that time that's going to be like about 1,000-ish turns of this +1 food. And it is an actual +1, like, we will get waste, but this should be okay. Do we have herbalism yet? No, actual is that. So we're gonna get seed camp and root tubers for now. Does it? I'm not as familiar with the demographics in the north. I think the Northwest Territories was aiming to, like, get provincial status, but I'm not as familiar. I know the elections are coming up, so that'll be fun. Yeah, that'll be a good time. It's also the it'll be overshadowed by the American elections, so. I don't know if it'll be China century. They'll definitely be a contender. America won't be the only great power, like the hyperpower. Hopefully it provides that competition that America needs to get its mind back on track. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Trudeau, and I tend to lean towards the NDP and the Conservatives, and, you know, you're gonna get all my bias right now, politically. But I don't like Scheer, and I don't like the current Conservative Party. Like, I like the conservative, like, fiscal conservatism, but I don't like a lot of their social policies, and definitely the part of the Conservative Party that's been making waves to, like, really dig up the abortion debate again. So, I probably have to vote for the NDP. I know it's splitting the right-left vote, but strategic voting, my only real choices are the NDP or Conservatives. I don't know. I think he's better than... I think Singh is better than Montclair, but, like, the shoes left behind by Layton are just really big for any NDP leader. Yeah, Caveman2Cosmos. It's great. It's a big mod. A big mess of passion. Hot passion. For Civilization 4. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Caleb. It's just tough. Like, I want to vote conservative, but they're just... If the social... Like, the conservative social side of the Conservative Party kind of left and was a bit more moderate, I would vote for that conservative. Like, Harper, for all his wrongs, was actually the better conservative leader. I didn't like how he put a muzzle on the party, and... Well, he probably needed to, otherwise they would talk about abortion every other week. Or do some Trump foos and say some rather racially insensitive things and shoot themselves in the foot that way. And I'm going to call it Trump foo because it's just right on par. Also, by the way, these are opinions. So you can disagree all you like. Like, they're just mine. Yeah, no. But I've never really been a fan of the Liberals. I think Trudeau's done well enough, though. I'll give him credit. But I don't think he handled China too well, but China is a tough nut to crack. Well, they are, like... I'm in no position of power, so my Canadian version of libertarian? I don't... Maybe? Libertarians want to remove government from, like, want to have a smaller government say, but I'm in Canada, and I find government too small as is, actually. Like, the federal level is actually very weak. It's the provinces that have the power. And unfortunately, I have Ford. Wasn't enough that one Ford was the mayor of Toronto, now we have one as the premier of Ontario. Yeah. Yeah, we have all... We actually do have more than the 2 major parties and 2 minor parties. We have a bit more than that. Like, I see them on my thing, but they don't get very many phone. Okay. So maybe I'm the Canadian version of a libertarian. Fair enough. But I also tend to view that the government needs a bit more power, but it needs reform before I want to give it that. Yeah. See, that's a tough one. Personally, I would have been okay with a liberal minority, or like a minority of both parties, just to shake them up a little bit so they can figure themselves out, and the liberals can get their corruption down a bit, because, you know, they kind of... yeah, it's the strength of democracy. They get to flush themselves out every so often. I mean, it wasn't the worst thing that we spent money on. Like the RV. Do I want to use my time to get one of these? It is 100 turns, but... let's wait until we get some further landscapes down the line. I mean, the rubber duck was for... one, it was kind of weird, but I kind of liked it at the same time. Yeah, I can gather the apples now. Actually, it's on the river, so it actually would benefit me. What else do we have? We're gonna have to wait for a bit more. Huh? Oh, I want to save you. For the hunters, I have a better chance of subduing them. Like, I can kill them with this axeman. Can I? Yeah, pretty well. I think there was a follow, but it hasn't, like, updated on my screen yet. Whatever that was, thank you very much. The legalization there must be nice. I don't really care. Oh, thank you, Bostava, for the follow. But, like, I was for it. I just don't really care for marijuana. But I was, you know, it's like, it does me no harm. I was like, sure, why not? Like, I don't really care. It's still working out the bugs, though. Like, I'm not a big fan that it had to be under the LCBO. I don't know, there's a lot of things in Canada where I like the concept, but it needs, like, to work out the bugs. I don't find the LCBO too bad. It is a bit more expensive, but I think, like, it needs reform, like... It's like the supply management system. I like the concept. It's good for farmers. Like, I'm also a little biased. I come from a lot of my family is in the dairy sector, and it's really good for like small families. But it's hard. But I know it needs reform, so new blood essentially can actually get in. It's really tough. Like it provides stability, which farmers need, and it doesn't make them do riskier like choices like pumping them full of antibiotics and hormones. Yeah. That's a pretty good way. I realize this has turned more into like, let's examine all my political biases. Stream more than Caveman2Cosmos. Do I want to do this? Maybe I should try for Legendary Wonder. The culture is useful. When did this unlock? What tech? Cave dwelling. That was relatively recent. Which one was more recent? Okay, so I want the culture, because culture will allow us to get to the trait faster. That's 100 turns, but I don't think the tourism obsoletes. So the Meadowcroft rock shelter might be pretty solid. It is less money, but overall I prefer the hammers and the food. Yeah. Let's try for that. Fair enough. To each their own. I believe in a little bit of interventionalism, which is why I approved of what Harper did during the recession. It might not have been the best, but I believe that the government spending was better than not trying to prop up the economy. I don't know, I always just think historically that the Great Depression could have been like a lot better handled than relying on laissez-faire to solve it out. I wonder what the Great Depression would have been like had there been like more active government intervention. Out of like a curious thought level, I wonder if that would have helped. Yeah. Like, I like a lot of things that Obama did, but he was also, like, he should have done more when the Democrats had the upper house. And, like, as a Canadian, what the Americans do actually matters to me quite a bit. Because, unfortunately, we're too closely linked economically. So, like, you have to follow along, even if you don't really care, like, so what America does affects Canadians quite a bit. Also, I do apologize if I'm not like the most conversive. Like I'm doing my best. Like it's not too bad today. Like I have a migraine today. It happens every so often, but I know I should do the stream today compared to tomorrow because the after effects are not the greatest. Are we working on the apples? Yeah, we got these gatherers working away. It just takes a while because gatherers are really slow, and we haven't come across any. The techs to improve their work speed are later, and they're one-offs, unfortunately. Those guys will do their thing and then die. So something like sharpening, yeah, here we go. Workers build improvements 25% faster. They also improve the stone toolmaker, which we are prepared to get, but it's taking a while. Is the city working the apples? No, probably not. Well, actually it might. It's got a fair amount of hammers, so yeah, it's working the apples right now. Right, it's 3 food and the 3 hammers, because I've got it prioritized on production, because that matters quite a bit more, I find, in the early game. I will fall behind population-wise against the AI, but I find in the long run, it's much more, like, it's the better choice. Because you'll have a much solid infrastructure in your city. You'll get things faster, like, it's always seemed to work out for me. Even when I used to do deity, but, you know, maybe some changes in 39 have, like, I might need to readjust my strategy, but from what I recall in Caveman2Cosmos, like hammers, like more hammers is better. You can get hammers, like get hammers. Because it's gonna be a long haul for food. Also, our main tile is a lush one, so it's actually got a fair amount of base food on it. Volcano is quieted down. Actually, I wonder if there are any Asian cultures linked to apples. You start on what? Dates? It's your town. What do you got around you? Spices, watermelons, incense. How about the Celts? Yeah, barley, grape, and hemp. That's what you have. Wheat, mushrooms. Okay. Yeah, no, these are apples. This is definitely an apple. It's not a ooh, that's on a jungle tile. Eventually we're gonna have to get rid of that. But no, you're correct, Ballenstalin. Those are definitely apples. We're just blitzing through these turns. It is eternity. There'll be more things to do as we get further along. I think in ancient, like when we start, or like once we get tribalism and we start getting more cities out, like a lot more will happen. Sorry.
does not weave.
Oops, sorry about that.
He is
Not that
merely
you
as
guys
strong. Whatever he does to
look
the
at
world,
that too
he
much.
does to himself.
That was weaving. Let's see, what did that include? Weaver's Hut. I don't think we have anything that would proc this yet. Yeah, no. Iris and Cloth. Nope, not yet. Yeah. Pretty much a third of the Canadian population lives in Ontario, and most of it lives within the area of the GTA. So another third, or close to a third, is in like Alberta. I think the prairies, like, have another 25%, like the provinces in between, like from Manitoba to like British Columbia. We'll just wrap that in with the prairies. It's the other 25%, and like the last 5 or so percent is probably in the East Coast. Yeah, it's just, there's a lot of people, and a fair chunk of them live within the GTA. I mean, if we fail to get this legendary landmark, we'll still get a fair amount of money. No, that's right, Alex. Most of the population lives pretty close to the USA. But to be fair, that's usually where most of the temperate climate is, and a lot of it lives along the Great Lakes, right? So it's just a good place to live. Yeah. And when you think about it, Vancouver is a major city. It's pretty close to the USA. Even when you look at the island, Victoria Island, British Columbia, it's pretty close to the US too. Most of the major cities of Canada are pretty close by. Like, most of it lives within the GTA. A small bit lives between the area of Kingston and Ottawa. If you are in between the Sault Ste. Marie, and Thunder Bay and Sudbury, that's another little bit, like 500,000, 500,000, but most of it's pretty close to the USA. I don't know, like, I love Caveman2Cosmos. Cyrus? Our ambassador to the Celtic Empire has committed a faux pas. I'm pretty sure we're okay. Well, the Great Lake regions are nice, but, like, some areas are a bit rougher than others. Like, yeah. I'm not familiar with Whistler. But to get out of Ontario, like, just to stay within Ontario to get to, like, Manitoba would... If you're doing sensible driving about 6 hours a day... It'd probably take you about 2, maybe 3 days, depending on your traffic. True. No, that sounds about right, actually. New York is a pretty big state, if I recall. Oh yeah, St. Catharines. That's not so bad. It's a nice little city on the escarpment. I must have missed it, but thank you for the bits, Ball and Stalin. I must have missed that. Or at least it says there are bits there. I'm just refamiliarizing myself with all this stuff on. Oh yeah. Oh okay, yeah. Thorold's like right next door to St. Catherine's, isn't it? No. I think Brock University is on the border between the two. Well, the funny thing is like, when I looked at the manufacturing capacity of the USA, it's actually pretty big now. But a lot of it's gone to like automation, so you don't need as many factories to produce what you used to. So, like, America produces a lot more than it used to. When I looked at some of the statistics, maybe in certain industries, I don't know which ones. I'm not as familiar, so I apologize. Oh, you work at Brock. Wow, well done. I had family who went there, so that's why I'm familiar with it. I had to help them move in there a few times over the summers. So that's my familiarity, getting moving furniture in St. Catherine's. Where are we at? Oh. And as I said, when this, like, I do appreciate you guys coming out to watch. I know I chose Eternity like a madman. So I don't expect you to come all the time, but I do appreciate you guys coming by, as is. And when this goes on YouTube, if you want to skip episodes, feel more than welcome to. I'll try to label the ones that have some interesting bits in it. Okay. How are we doing compared to the rest of the world? Not the worst, not the best. Middle road, that's fine. The volcano events, yeah. It's actually, one of the things that I did like about the new Civ 6 was, Gathering Storm. The world felt a little bit more alive. That said, like, there's a lot of work that Civ 6 needs for it to, like, take the top spot in my heart. From Civ 4 and all the mods that come about it. But there's a mod that I'm interested there by Getabon. If you're interested in supply lines and all that, like, I would check out that mod too. It's a work in development, but I like the promise it holds. There'll be another mod I'd like to preview in the future, like Caveman2Cosmos. It's another interesting mod. I like playing games that are a little bit deeper, take a little bit more time. And I thought about doing War in the Pacific, but don't know if I'm gonna want to get into that. I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Feels a bit more time intensive. Like, it doesn't feel like I can jump in and play it as easily. Compared to like some other enjoyable yet deep games or mods. The thing is, I've mostly explored. It probably won't pick up until I get, like, trackers and hunters. Ah. Give me a second, everyone. PP Papio seems to. Oh, nope, that's my solo game that I kind of want to keep playing. Papio seems to not like hotkeys after a while to get through those menus, so I'm just going to load it up quickly and get it rolling again. It actually loads pretty well. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. I don't know why it does that, but occasionally it like stops reading the hotkeys. Like you can still like manually click them and open them, but sometimes it just does that. But have you guys seen the dev diaries for New and Taxes? Like, it gets me so excited that I almost can't really play. I have the same issue actually with 2.0, but when you see them, it's just like, oh man, 2.5 looks so just so bland in comparison. I really just want to hop in on 3.0. Be a lot of fun. Like, you probably see me comment around on the Paradox forums fairly often. On there, I'm Nazaroth, because that's a far older account. And on the Caveman2Cosmos forums, I am Acularius there. So, you know, pretty simple. I try to keep the same username. I try to put Bismarck as my profile picture. Very iconic character. And a pheasant. I think it's a pheasant. I wonder if there's like that spawned there, if it came in. Probably spawned there. I wonder if I have chickens here. Like poultry, I mean. Interesting. Yeah, one thing that I noticed on the Caveman2Cosmos forums is I think gold is a bit, they're still trying to balance out gold. So if we get, like, the further we get into this game, we're going to be producing, like, a surplus, even when we're at 100%. So just keep that in mind, that this mod is always a work in production, and the team's pretty good, like, they're pretty welcome to feedback. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. I chat, or at least I follow along with the changelog over there pretty often. Thunderbird, Catayon, Toffer. There's also a bunch of other new faces, or at least ones that I wasn't as familiar before, like Raxos, Ank, A-N-Q, Ang. I almost tempted to call him Ang because I like Avatar, so it's very tempting. Yeah, there you go, Joseph, right there. Thank you for joining and stopping by. I know it's riveting gameplay right now, but I kind of like the pace. I always have. I know it's not really recommended. Like, they probably would recommend Marathon. I know one of the an interesting Let's Play by, I think, James. It's on like something awful forums. There's links in on the Caveman2Cosmos forum. And it's a pretty good read, actually, if you like the old-fashioned after-action reports. And I grew up with those before YouTube really became a thing. Yeah, I almost got the wonder, and now someone else will build it. How many turns do I have left? 4 turns. Okay, come on, game. But please keep in mind that I chose Eternity because I like its pace. If you wanted to pick up this mod and all its wonder and glory, like, you have quite the options from like Blitz to Eternity, but there are more like manageable reigns like Marathon, your normal speed, maybe a bit quicker but not Blitz. I'm not as familiar with the faster speeds. Like normal, I feel like Snail, Marathon. I think there's something that comes before Eternity and then Eternity. Okay. Yes! Yes, I got it! Aha! Success! Okay, I don't need gatherers yet. I could build these in preparation for... let's see how much spare health I got. I got a fair amount of spare health. I can splurge some of my health a little bit with berry bushes and wild mushrooms because that gets offset when we get herbalism. So we'll take that for now. Get a little bit more food. So we did get it. So that's going to be very useful. So as you can see now, we're picking up some tourism. I don't think anything's unlocked for tourism this early in the game. I think one of the first tourist things is like... I think this... once you enter the ancient era, maybe? Or maybe it's sooner. It's been a while since I've gone through the tech tree. Blissful ignorance. Yeah. Yeah, see, education, blissful ignorance. It actually... yeah, because we're under 10 at 24, we get this to proc. Unaware. So our cities grow faster, and if we improve our education, they'll grow slower, but we'll get benefits to like commerce, hammers, and food. Yeah. No, I've been following along with your civic balancing here and there when I can, right? But I've noticed a lot of work being done there. And that was one of the bigger changes that I noticed from between 38.5 and 39 was some of the civics have been changed. Like, it's no longer subsistence, no, not subsistence. Whatever the second one used to be. Now it's small holdings, which is a pretty good name for it. I wonder if we can be greedy and... oh, I guess if we build one of those legendary landmarks, it locks out the other ones, which is fair. It's a group, so I think we were only allowed one. And I think I did a pretty good choice. Ah, okay. Rework the food mechanisms. Yeah, I think he... because cities were getting ridiculous in size, I think he increased the amount of food needed per citizen, I think I read. Something like that, and worked food wastage. Just working off the top of my head. Yeah, it takes more food to burn that. Oh, you went to France. Where did you go in France? I haven't been in too many places in France. I've only been to Paris. Well, Paris. But, like, I've always been impressed by the public transit in Paris and London. Like, those are things. Those were my take-homes when I was younger. It's like the TTC sucks, which is the local public transit in my area. So where'd you go? North France, Central, like which cities? Oh wow, you went follow along like the two rivers, I think. The Seine and the Seine? The pronunciation of that always throws me off. In the Rhone, I think. We went through the lower valley. What is it called? God, to be fair, French geography, not 100% on, but yeah, no, that's quite a bit. The Mediterranean must have been rather nice to see. Let's see here. So, if we're talking France, you went probably around like here, came down through here. Nice would technically be around here, and then Switzerland is around here. Like Geneva was nice back in 1974. I wouldn't know. I wasn't born yet. Born then. Well, like a decade and a bit after, and that's when I'd be born. Basically, the year I think the wall came down. What was that in 91? I think that was 91. What was 89 then? 89, I think, was the collapse of the USSR. Or shortly after. I'm trying to remember all like the end of the Cold War thing stuff. Ah, thank you for your service. I know you're American and you're serving the U.S. Army, but thank you. I don't know. Like I would love to go back to Europe. There was a lot of just a lot of historical sites to go back and see. Another one of my little biases. I tend to lean against war, but I support the military. That's not a job that I would like to have. I think we should splurge for some hunting stuff, like tracking. And then we'll pick up herbalism, control fire. Let's pick up oral traditions. Then get hard hammer production. Let's see here. The dance stuff and the music. Ritualism is also a very good one. It enables folklore, cultural identity, and we should pick up hunting. We'll get these naturopathy. Mostly I'm working by memory of what I like picking up tech-wise before. We're gonna want to get these because it's gonna improve the stone tool maker's science production. We can probably ignore games for now. Conduct will be good. We're pretty far away from anyone counting. We're getting games anyway. As this will give us production increase and science. Yeah, well, we'll see where we're at once we get to this point. Actually, sharpening at least, because it will improve the productivity of our stone. Dang it. Sorry. I believe we just did shelter building.
Personalities of the people who live in it.
Okay, the childbirth hut is good because it unlocks other buildings that we like. Shelter building, yeah. A lot of things, yeah. Stick gatherer. Other things that we can build. This was one of the legendary things that we could have got. I find hinds are not too hard to get, so it shouldn't be too bad. But we definitely need to hunt for these kind of things. Hmm. Probably going to be playing for like 5 more minutes, then I'll wrap up. Then I'll take a little break. Maybe I'll start another session after that. Maybe not. It depends how I feel. Migraine day today. Apologize. I know I've mentioned that before. But it is not fun. Let's see. Yeah, we'll pick that up. Might as well. I could have sworn I put my phone on silent, so I apologize for that one. I find caffeine doesn't really help. It just quickens my blood flow, which really causes the pulsing in my head to go a bit harder. I've tried a few things, trying to help it, but it's a mild one relatively today, so I'm not like too concerned. But on severe days, I'll just have some painkillers and just call it done. It doesn't happen too often, like once a month, so it's not so hard. Some people have it far worse than I do. It's really the after effects of the migraine that really suck. It feels like I haven't slept for a day. I'm just really slow. I can't speak too well. Like before the migraine and after it, not so bad. No, before and during it's not so bad. After's the worst part for me. I just don't feel 100%. Yeah, because I picked up affiliate status with Twitch, so it'll be about 24 hours, and this will be up on YouTube. I'll also be doing some posts on the Caveman2Cosmos forum, so the episode, it's going to be in a playlist, so it's pretty accessible. Take your time. And if you want to go to that, like shortly after the end of the stream, I'm going to post a link to Caveman2Cosmos forums. Like, feel free to reinstall your good old Caveman Civilization 4 and the expansions, Warlords, and Beyond the Sword, and get a really good mod for it. There are other mods on Civilization Fanatics, if you definitely want to. Maybe Caveman2Cosmos is not your thing. There are a couple others on there. Like, just take a browse. You'd be surprised that those communities are still going strong. There's a lot of good stuff there. The engine is showing its age, but the community is still great. Still keep going back. Same way I used to with a lot of like early mods for Paradox Interactive. It's just a really good community. That's where you want to be. Yeah, I keep hearing Fall from Heaven, but I have a hard time getting into fantasy aspects of my game. Maybe I'll break down and finally install it and give it a shot. I've not played it, so I'm not going to judge it. I just heard fantasy elements, and I tend to shy away from those. That's why I'm not a big fan of Warhammer for Total War, but I do understand its appeal. Maybe I'll finally give that a shot. Because I've always heard good things about it. Oh yeah, you're right. Peppermint tea shouldn't have any caffeine in it. You're right. Right. Just... I locked in on the tea. Yeah. I'll give that a shot. I won't get to test that for another month, but you know, it's always worth trying. So now we're picking up a few techs, and you'll notice that some of the things that we're going to be dealing with coming up is going to be criminal units. And as the game progresses, those will either be like pretty good for us or pretty bad, depending who's using them. If it's the AI against us, probably pretty bad. If it's us against the AI, we could use them probably fairly well. Okay, I am at that weird point. What do I want to do? Do I want to maybe build some stone throwers? I don't remember having this issue in my parallel game that I have going. I've got the map fairly well explored. I'm missing parts of Africa, but I don't think a wanderer will last long enough to get there. I could potentially build up a stock of gatherers. Like, there should be more things popping up around me that I can take advantage of. Smooth, welcome to the show. You're pretty much actually at the end, so I appreciate you coming by, though. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Get some brutes going. I kind of like to wait for my defense units until I get some more XP, but like melee units like brutes are like out of the field units that can just gain XP through combat. I tend to like building up a stock of. Hello everyone that's popped on by. We got a while until Deception pops up. Thank you for the follow. I'll know in a few seconds when my application catches up. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, stone throwers are not bad, but we have the tribal guardian for now, and I kind of like to wait further down because I don't think they're going to be doing a whole lot of combat, my city defenders, at least not this early in the game, so I don't need to start building them up yet until I get some more freebies for them. Well, building up a stock of brutes. We'll see where we're at. Where we go, but thank you for Noamir. I'm kind of waiting for some updates on that. Like, it's been kind of stagnant for a while. He's been working on anti-exploit systems, which is good work, but doesn't introduce a lot of new stuff. But as always, thank you for watching, everyone. In a bit, this will be on YouTube in about 24 hours, so you can always catch up there. Feel free to do as you like in your life and have a good time. I will see you next time. This is Acularius signing off for the evening. Thank you for joining.